You passed the exam. You got the job. You finally hit that target you've been grinding toward for years. And for roughly 24 hours, it felt good. Then the fog rolls in. Quietly, a familiar script starts running in the background. It whispers, "Okay, but what's next?" Or perhaps the most frustrating one, "I have everything I wanted, so why don't I feel satisfied?" Most of us keep that feeling hidden. We assume it indicates a personal flaw, a lack of gratitude, or a failure of ambition. Society certainly treats it that way. That emptiness results from the collision of a highly specific biological feature, survival software written hundreds of thousands of years ago, running in an environment it was never designed for. To make matters worse, you live inside an economic system built entirely around keeping that exact biological loop wide open. The persistent ache of inadequacy proves that a complex, unseen architecture is functioning with perfect, unintended efficiency. To see how this machinery works, we have to rewind roughly 200,000 years. Early human ancestors lived on an unpredictable, highly volatile planet with no guaranteed food and no certain shelter. In that specific environment, relaxation was a massive liability. The individuals who ate a good meal and simply sat back, fully satisfied, were the ones most likely to miss a predator in the brush. The humans who survived were the ones possessing a brain that never fully shut off, a brain that constantly scanned the horizon, compared resources, and nervously asked, "Is this enough? What are we missing?" You inherited that exact nervous system. That restless voice telling you are falling behind is the very alarm system that kept your lineage alive. This biological drive translates into our daily lives through a well-documented psychological mechanism called hedonic adaptation. This chart shows the concept often referred to as the hedonic treadmill. When you achieve a major goal, a promotion, a new house, your baseline satisfaction spikes, but your brain quickly recalibrates. It takes that new achievement, labels it the new normal, and immediately flattens out, reopening the gap of desire. In 1978, researchers Brickman, Coates, and Janoff-Bullman tracked people who won life-altering lottery jackpots. The data plotted here reveals that within exactly 1 year, the winners reported roughly the exact same levels of daily happiness as they had before hitting the jackpot. Alongside this moving baseline is a second psychological trap, identified in 1954 as social comparison theory. Humans do not evaluate their worth in a vacuum. We measure ourselves strictly against the people around us. We rarely look downward at those who have less. We almost exclusively compare upward, locking our attention on the person one step ahead in their career or one milestone further along in life. Historically, you only compared yourself to a small physical village. Now, screens deliver highly curated, filtered highlight reels of millions of strangers, and your brain registers these fictions as legitimate social threats. Because of these two psychological functions working in tandem, the finish line is in perpetual motion. Genuine satisfaction remains mathematically out of reach. The endless scroll of social feeds exploits this ancient threat detection. In the ancestral world, falling behind the tribe meant exile and death. So your brain interprets a lack of digital status as a literal threat to your physical survival. This pressure is reinforced early on. Well-meaning parents and teachers quietly communicate to children through grades and rankings that affection and belonging are conditional, things that must be continually earned through performance. Then you enter adulthood, where the broader economy takes over. If people woke up tomorrow feeling completely whole and sufficient, the modern consumer economy would collapse by noon. Advertising, fast fashion, and algorithms only function if you feel a distinct lack in your life. They are deliberate architectures of dissatisfaction, engineered to remind you of what you do not have. Productivity culture layers a moral judgment on top of this. It equates resting with laziness, framing the mere act of existing without producing as a measurable failure. You are trapped in a system that monetizes your insecurity. Modern culture feeds the biological loop of inadequacy because it directly profits from it. Biology, psychology, and consumer culture push you toward the same conclusion: I am not enough yet. That word "yet" implies a future version of you who is fully optimized, completely finished, and finally permitted to rest. The system is specifically designed to make sure that version never actually arrives. Escaping this cycle requires treating enough as a present tense decision, an internal shift in perspective available regardless of external milestones. Chasing self-worth as a future goal provides your brain with daily proof you currently lack it. You do not have to abandon your goals to find peace. The reality is that you can be entirely enough right now, in your current imperfect state, while still actively growing. Both things are true at the same time. This requires 3 internal reorientations. The first is moving away from external validation. You have to stop optimizing for the approval of others and begin measuring yourself against your own strictly defined internal standards. The second is transitioning from output-based worth to being-based worth. A child does not have to earn love by being productive. Their value is inherent. You have to reclaim that unearned value for yourself. The third is abandoning social comparison entirely. The only metric that produces actual growth without destroying your peace is measuring how you are doing today compared to who you were yesterday. When you lie awake at night wondering if you're doing enough, remember that the emptiness you feel is merely an echo of obsolete ancestral software. Imagine what your life would look like if you pursued your goals from a place of genuine desire, rather than a desperate need to prove you deserve to be here. Realizing wholeness involves the patient, consistent unlearning of the systemic lie that you were ever broken.